I never felt like he was like yelling at me. But anyway, I feel like when I say he taught me how to act, I feel like because I never did like lessons or anything like that, I think I would have really easily fallen into...
Jennifer Lawrence just exposed Leonardo DiCaprio on TV. She called time spent with Leonardo DiCaprio pure hell.
It's just kind of unleashing that helplessness that I feel as a citizen and a human on the planet. She was saying something that people didn't want to hear.
In a series of raw, unfiltered interviews after their Don't Look Up shoot, she pulled back Hollywood's glossy curtain, revealing behind-the-scenes chaos, outrageous onset habits, and shocking personal truths about one of its biggest stars. What exactly did she uncover about DiCaprio's notorious routines? And why did her words leave him frozen on camera? Join us as we unveil what Jennifer Lawrence revealed about Leonardo DiCaprio. It was hell. Jennifer Lawrence didn't dress it up or play nice. Sitting on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, she dropped the line like a brick. It was the most annoying day of my life. This story had a name too, Leonardo DiCaprio. They drove me crazy that day, she said. It was hell. This wasn't some offhand joke. Lawrence has been through tough shoots, brutal schedules, and directors known for blowing up on set. She's done stunts, carried franchises, and survived the pressure cooker of modern Hollywood. Still, one day filming Don't Look Up stuck with her in a way nothing else did. One car, one scene, no escape. On paper, the setup looked easy. A road scene with Lawrence, DiCaprio, and Timothée Chalamet. 3 A-list actors, one vehicle, roll cameras. Move on. That's how it's supposed to go in film production. What actually happened exposed the kind of behind-the-scenes tension people rarely talk about. Chalamet came in buzzing, fresh out of lockdown, full of energy, clearly thrilled to be back on a movie set. Lawrence clocked it right away. He was excited just to be out of the house. That energy filled the car. Loud, fast, unfiltered. Then there was DiCaprio. He picked the music for the scene. Not unusual. Big stars do that. Creative input is part of the job at that level. The problem wasn't the song. It was the lecture that came with it. DiCaprio started explaining the track's meaning, then its history, then why it mattered, then why it mattered more. He kept going. Lawrence sat there, trapped in the back seat, listening to what slowly turned into noise. This song was about, blah, 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 she recalled, mocking the moment with the kind of tired frustration that doesn't fade with time. She wasn't acting, she was enduring. Power dynamics matter on a film set. DiCaprio isn't just a co-star. He's a box office engine, a career maker. When he talks, people listen. His deep prep and obsessive focus are legendary in Hollywood circles. To him, this was probably part of the work. Mood, texture, subtext. To Lawrence, it was misery. She said it flat out. Absolute misery. Not challenging, not demanding. Misery. And that's what made the confession land. This is the same actress who's gone toe-to-toe with legends, held scenes with Meryl Streep, and survived volatile directors without blinking. Yet this single day ranked as the worst. What really shook people wasn't the complaint. It was the honesty. Hollywood runs on silence. You smile. You promote, you protect the brand. You don't call out someone like Leonardo DiCaprio by name. Lawrence did it anyway. That moment cracked something open. It wasn't just about an annoying car ride during Don't Look Up. It was about ego, awareness, and what happens when no one reads the room. But that car scene rant was only the warm-up. What Lawrence shared next went way deeper, peeling back how risky movie sets can quietly become when schedules push too far. When Lawrence was seeing things on set, Sitting across from Leonardo DiCaprio during their Variety Actors on Actors talk, Jennifer Lawrence was meant to be relaxed, swapping stories about craft and careers. Instead, she casually dropped something that should have shut down a film set on the spot. She admitted she'd once been hallucinating through scenes, and almost no one noticed. She said it like it was nothing, like a throwaway memory. She'd taken an Ambien in the morning by mistake, thinking it was something else. Not during Don't Look Up. This happened on The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, the second film in a franchise worth hundreds of millions, during a dance scene with Philip Seymour Hoffman, a legend, a precision actor, a scene that demanded full control. "I was hallucinating," she said. Flat, calm, no drama. Then came the kicker. Elizabeth Banks was annoyed with her. Not scared, not calling for help, just irritated. From the outside, Lawrence probably looked unfocused, missing beats, off her timing, maybe even difficult. No one knew she was seeing things that weren't there while cameras rolled and crew members watched monitors. That's the part that sticks. On a massive Hollywood production, the lead actress was chemically impaired and the machine kept moving. Hit your marks, say your lines, keep going. That wasn't the only time medication nearly wrecked everything. Lawrence shared another story from Red Sparrow, the 2018 spy thriller that pushed her physically and mentally. She had to master a Russian accent, intense choreography, and brutal emotional scenes. Zero room for mistakes. Every day mattered. One night, she grabbed the wrong pill again. This time it was Adderall instead of a sleeping pill. She didn't sleep at all. Her heart raced through the night. Panic crept in. She stood under burning hot showers at 3 a.m, trying to calm herself down. Alone, far from home, under contract, carrying a movie that cost millions. She knew she couldn't function without sleep, and sleep wasn't coming. The next day's scene made it worse. She had to say Senate Armed Services Committee in a Russian accent. Try that fresh. Now try it wired, exhausted, and shaking inside, with a full crew waiting and the clock ticking. That sucked, she said simply and honestly. DiCaprio's reaction said more than he probably meant. He called them key screw-ups. Not terrifying, not dangerous, just part of the job. The kind of mistakes actors learn from and move past. Normalized, expected. They both laughed about how obsessed they are with sleep on set. Counting hours, guarding rest like it's oxygen. Anyone who's worked long shoots knows why. When sleep goes, everything else follows. Lines slip. Judgment fades. Bodies fail. What Lawrence exposed wasn't just personal chaos. It was a system with holes. A lead actress hallucinating during filming. Another accidentally taking stimulants before bed. No pause, no protocol. Just annoyance and pressure to keep rolling. These aren't harmless mix-ups. Ambien can cause hallucinations and loss of awareness. Adderall spikes, heart rate, and anxiety. Mixing them up on a grueling shoot isn't quirky. It's dangerous. DiCaprio heard all of this in real time, on camera, and his calm response made one thing clear. This wasn't shocking to him. It was familiar. Behind the red carpets and box office headlines, Hollywood often runs on exhaustion, silence, and luck. And sometimes, the only sign something's wrong is that someone looks annoyed instead of asking if you're okay. But she wasn't finished pulling threads. When the talk turned straight to DiCaprio and how he really works on set, Lawrence didn't sugarcoat anything. What did she say that even left DiCaprio quietly stunned about his own habits? Lawrence surgically dissects DiCaprio. Jennifer Lawrence didn't just poke fun at Leonardo DiCaprio, she broke him down. Right to his face. With cameras rolling, like she'd finally decided it was time to say what everyone else tiptoes around. It started with a simple question. What's your worst habit as an actor? The kind of thing people usually dodge with safe answers. Too hard on myself. Think too much. Nothing real. DiCaprio didn't dodge it. He admitted he throws out ideas non-stop. A flood of thoughts, notes, comments, suggestions. His words. A shotgun blast of whatever crosses his mind. Lawrence didn't hesitate. She smiled and dropped the line. A broken clock is right twice a day. The room went quiet. That wasn't playful teasing. That was a read. She was saying what she'd lived through. Leo talks constantly. He fills the air with ideas whether anyone asks or not. Every angle, every thought, every meaning. Sometimes something useful lands. Most of the time it's just noise. The cut was sharp because of what it implied. A broken clock isn't skilled. It isn't precise. It's only right by accident. If you never stop talking, sooner or later, something sounds smart. That doesn't make the process sacred. It just makes it loud. DiCaprio sat there, clearly trying to decide if he'd been praised or quietly dismantled. He couldn't push back without sounding defensive. Lawrence had framed it perfectly. Honest enough to sting, casual enough to stand, and it made that infamous car ride make sense. The music lecture, the non-stop commentary, the sense of being trapped with someone who couldn't read the room. That wasn't a bad day. That was his process on full display. Power matters on a film set. DiCaprio has it. When he talks, people let him. Directors call it passion. Producers call it commitment. Nobody tells him to ease up. Lawrence did. To his credit, he flipped the mirror back. What about your worst habit? Her answer went in the opposite direction. She disconnects completely once filming ends. No prep at night. No worrying about tomorrow. She shuts it all off. It keeps her sane. It keeps her life livable. Then morning hits, and it's chaos in the hair and makeup trailer. That habit nearly crushed her on Silver Linings Playbook. She had a scene yelling fast sports stats at Robert De Niro. No emotion to lean on. Just words, numbers, precision. She hates sports. Didn't even realize the scene was coming until that day. Suddenly, she's standing across from De Niro, unready, heart racing. She locked in, nailed one perfect take on pure panic. Then it fell apart. Line slips, misses, watching a legend wait while she scrambled. She compared it to showing up to school in just your underwear. Exposed, humiliated, brutal. That's the contrast. DiCaprio overprepares and overwhelms everyone around him. Lawrence protects her mind, then pays for it later. One floods the set with thoughts. The other avoids them until the last second. Both create a mess. Just different kinds. What made the moment matter is who said it. Lawrence isn't Junior. She's an Oscar winner, a franchise anchor, a proven box office name. She doesn't need permission to be honest, and that's what she offered DiCaprio. Plain and sharp, but the habits and prep mess were only the easy stuff. Once Lawrence started digging into DiCaprio's past, the tone shifted fast. Why would Lawrence even hint at something that extreme? DiCaprio's hidden radical past. Leonardo DiCaprio is known for a lot of things. Oscar-winning performances, climate speeches, his dating life. What people rarely hear about is where he really comes from. That part only came out because Jennifer Lawrence decided to ask the right question, and then didn't let go. During their filmed conversation, Lawrence brought up his role in One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. DiCaprio plays a washed-up former revolutionary drifting through life, stuck between his past beliefs and the mess of the present. Lawrence told him the performance felt different. Raw, warmer, more exposed than anything she'd seen him do before. And then, she said, it reminded her of his parents, their values, their counterculture roots. That cracked something open. DiCaprio didn't dodge it. He said his parents were definitely hippies. His dad, he added, used to hang around Abby Hoffman, not casually, not once or twice. Actually, around him. That name carries weight. Hoffman wasn't just a protest guy, he was a full-blown radical, one of the Chicago Seven. A target of the federal government, a man who lived underground for years. If you were close to him, you weren't flirting with rebellion. You were in it. Lawrence pushed further. She mentioned something darker, that DiCaprio's father had been involved in bomb-making. DiCaprio didn't deny it, he didn't confirm it either. He shifted. He said the revolutionaries in the film were way more extreme than his parents ever were. It was a careful move. Enough distance to breathe, not enough to erase the question. What's clear is this. DiCaprio grew up around people who rejected authority, money, and the system itself. That sounds romantic until you add the other part of his childhood, poverty. He was raised in Echo Park, Los Angeles, back when it was rough. Substances, crime, gangs, no safety net, no shortcuts. He watched the neighborhood closing in and understood early that staying meant sinking. The turning point came when he saw his stepbrother book commercials. He was about 12. He realized acting wasn't just pretending, it paid. That was it. That was the door. He became his own stage parent, dragged his reluctant family to auditions, sold the idea as survival, not dreams. This could be money, a way out, a future. The rejection was brutal. Audition after audition, no after no. Each one felt like a lock clicking shut. Then came a Matchbox car commercial. He played a tiny gangster, slick hair, briefcase. He showed up already dressed for it, already in character. That wasn't art. That was hunger. That same hunger explains everything that came later. The obsessive prep, the non-stop ideas on set, the need to prove value every second. Even the infamous car ride with Jennifer Lawrence, where he couldn't stop explaining music like it was a test he had to pass. He learned early that silence meant disappearing. Lawrence's questions exposed the full picture. A man raised around radicals, shaped by fear and instability, who escaped through Hollywood and never stopped running. He didn't just beat the system. His parents fought. He mastered it. And when you grow up like that, you don't relax. You don't coast. You talk. You perform. You fill the space. Because somewhere deep down, you still believe that if you stop, it could all disappear. But Lawrence wasn't done pulling at the threads that shaped both of them. When the talk shifted to directors, she paused, then shared something unsettling about working with David O. Russell. How much did she have to put up with it? Directors who break you. Jennifer Lawrence said something about David O. Russell that should have ended the conversation cold. Instead, she framed it as a gift. Working with him, she said, taught her how to act. That single sentence holds everything broken about how Hollywood excuses abuse when the work turns out well. She started carefully. You could hear it in her voice. She praised him, then immediately slowed herself down. She said she wanted to be sensitive to the other actors who'd worked with him. She knew his reputation. She knew what people had said. She knew where this could land. That warning mattered because Russell's on-set behavior is infamous, explosive, loud, personal. Actors and crew have talked about it for years. Lawrence didn't deny any of that. She simply explained why, for her, it worked. She described his direction in blunt terms. Do it louder, do it quieter. That was bad. That was bullshit. Do it again. No padding, no notes about motivation, no discussion of character. Just raw judgment thrown across the set. A powerful director, decades older, calling a young actress's work bullshit again and again. In any other industry, that's verbal abuse. On a film set, it gets renamed as intensity. Lawrence was 21 years old when she made Silver Linings Playbook, barely starting, new to carrying a film, standing opposite seasoned actors, being spoken to that way by the person who controlled the schedule, the tone, and the future of her career. She explained it with a sports comparison. She said she grew up playing sports, so it felt like a tough coach. Stern, demanding, loud, but not personal. Familiar. Almost normal. That comparison says a lot. Sports culture teaches young people to absorb humiliation and keep moving. Get yelled at. Don't flinch. Perform anyway. Lawrence had that muscle already built. Not everyone does. She went further. She said it felt alive. She said she hates being tiptoed around, like she's fragile or explosive. She didn't want soft handling. She wanted honesty. And that's where it twists, because she's not wrong about wanting respect instead of coddling. But there's a wide gap between honesty and cruelty. Plenty of directors give clear notes without tearing people down. Russell didn't live in that middle space. Lawrence knows that too. That's why she led with a disclaimer. She's heard the stories. Amy Adams crying on set, crew members getting screamed at, Christian Bale stepping in, George Clooney nearly coming to blows. Those weren't coaching moments. Those were breakdowns. Hollywood loves the exception. One success story becomes the excuse. She won an Oscar, so the method must work. Anyone who couldn't handle it must be weak. That's the logic. It ignores everyone who got hurt along the way. Lawrence's background helped her survive it. That doesn't make it healthy. It doesn't make it necessary. It just means she endured what others couldn't. The contrast showed up when she talked about other directors. Lynn Ramsey, Paul Thomas Anderson, Martin Scorsese. No disclaimers. No warnings, just collaboration, trust, space to work. Ramsey built the world, then stepped back. She watched. She listened. Strong performances came from both approaches. Only one left damage behind. Even Scorsese's legendary reputation comes with pressure that can shake actors like Lawrence. When she found out what his process actually demanded, the panic hit her hard. What was the prep so intense that it made her feel like she might kill herself? Why DVD players and Japanese ghost films made Lawrence panic. Jennifer Lawrence, Oscar winner, franchise powerhouse, Hollywood heavyweight, confessed she wanted to kill herself. The culprit? Martin Scorsese's homework? Leonardo DiCaprio's insights about working with the legendary director made it clear that even top-tier actors aren't spared the grueling prep that defines Scorsese's sets. The setup was simple. Lawrence and DiCaprio were gearing up for Scorsese's new thriller, What Happens at Night. After surviving the nightmare car ride on Don't Look Up, they'd be back together, under one of cinema's most exacting directors. Lawrence, nerves already on edge, turned to DiCaprio for advice. "Is there anything I should absolutely know about Martin Scorsese before we start?" she asked, probably hoping for reassurance that the man was professional, respectful, manageable. DiCaprio's answer crushed that hope immediately. "It's a great thing, and he's going to give you a lot of film references." On the surface, that sounds harmless. Directors cite other films all the time to set the tone or inspiration. But then came the kicker. They usually come in the form of a DVD, and if you don't have a DVD player, get one. Lawrence's reaction? Instant panic. "Oh my God! I'm going to kill myself." It's 2025. Streaming dominates. Physical media is almost extinct. Most people under 40 haven't touched a DVD in years. Yet here she was, being told to track down outdated tech and spend countless hours watching films selected by Scorsese, while presumably juggling life, family, and a demanding role. DiCaprio didn't stop there. Sometimes he screens a whole movie just for one sequence. If there's something he wants you to capture, the pacing, the tone, you'll watch it in its entirety. Think about that. Entire films just to master a single scene. Not optional, not a casual suggestion. Required. Every detail, every nuance soaked in and ready to apply to your performance. For someone balancing character prep, lines, and personal life, it's overwhelming. Then came the cultural curveball. We might see some Japanese ghost films for reference just to get the tone of it, DiCaprio added. Japanese ghost films. Obscure, subtitled, culturally dense, requiring context and careful attention. Not your average Hollywood thriller prep. Imagine being Jennifer Lawrence. Oscar in hand, franchises conquered. A proven box office draw, and now you're expected to acquire a DVD player, watch an unknown number of meticulously selected films, attend screenings to extract tiny sequences, and study international cinema, all while synthesizing it into a performance Scorsese will judge. Most directors give you sides, maybe a paragraph of character notes, and a handful of thematic pointers to guide your performance. Martin Scorsese doesn't work that way. He hands actors what feels like a mini film school curriculum. Every scene, every line, every gesture is tied to a broader cinematic language he expects you to understand. You're not just memorizing dialogue, you're studying decades of film history, absorbing shot composition, pacing, camera movement, and emotional beats from classics he references. He'll point you to entire movies, obscure sequences, and sometimes even foreign films, expecting you to internalize how rhythm, tone, and subtle gestures create meaning. It's exhausting, yes, but that's also why his work is revered. His vision isn't just about telling a story. It's about crafting a living, breathing cinematic experience. And he expects actors to meet that depth, to match his encyclopedic knowledge of film with their performance, turning each scene into a masterclass moment. DiCaprio tried to reassure her. "You're going to have an amazing time." Lawrence's follow-up was revealing. "Are you really excited to work with me again?" She needed confirmation that her co-star was happy she was there, even as the Scorsese homework nightmare loomed. For Lawrence, this was a lesson in Hollywood hierarchies. DVDs in hand, nerves taut, ready to absorb the genius of a master filmmaker. But all of Scorsese's brutal homework, Russell's screaming, and DiCaprio's non-stop ideas were just the warm-up for the moment that would break the internet. When Lawrence brought up DiCaprio being a father to a teenage daughter, his reaction was priceless. But why did DiCaprio look genuinely terrified? "You'd look great with a teenage daughter." After all the confessions about chaotic directors, grueling homework, and endless car ride lectures, Jennifer Lawrence saved the sharpest observation for last. And Leonardo DiCaprio's reaction said everything. They were talking about DiCaprio's role in Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, where he plays Bob, a washed-up revolutionary and father to a teenage daughter, played by Chase Infinity, who is actually 25 in real life. The father-daughter relationship is central to the film, a mix of lost connection and missed opportunities, and Lawrence had just praised DiCaprio for giving the rawest performance she'd ever seen from him. Then came the line that would go viral. "I really loved seeing you be a dad. Like, I'm so sad you don't have a teenage daughter." She paused, smiled, and added the kicker, "You'd look great with one." The camera captured it all. DiCaprio froze for a moment, eyes widening slightly, lips twitching into a nervous chuckle that wasn't funny. It was a reflex, a buffer, while he figured out how to respond. The confident actor who'd just dissected counterculture politics and cinematic preparation looked caught off guard, like someone had pointed out the one thing he couldn't easily deflect. Within minutes, the clip exploded online. Comments flew. She knew exactly what she was doing. That is textbook nervous laughter. He had pure terror on his face. Fans and journalists dissected every frame, connecting the dots to one of Hollywood's most talked-about patterns, DiCaprio's well-documented dating history. For years, he has mostly dated women under the age of 25, often ending relationships shortly after their birthdays. The pattern became meme-worthy, cultural shorthand for age-gap dating in Hollywood. Even with his current girlfriend, Vittoria Ceretti, 27, slightly breaking the streak, the jokes and online charts had already cemented the narrative. Lawrence's comment worked on multiple levels. On the surface, it was innocent praise, acknowledging his performance, saying he'd make a good father, plausible deniability was perfect. But the subtext was undeniable. She was referencing the age dynamics he's infamous for, doing it with a compliment rather than a critique. The brilliance lies in the delivery. She didn't attack, didn't mock, she nudged, leaving DiCaprio to navigate the tension himself. That brief, awkward laugh, the darting eyes, the pause before he could speak, all of it said more than any headline could. This wasn't just a funny interview moment, it was a perfectly calibrated roast from a peer who knew she could say what others wouldn't dare. Lawrence exposed a truth about Hollywood dating culture, wrapped in charm and timing, and DiCaprio's face made sure the world noticed. But Lawrence's takedown of DiCaprio went deeper than his quirks or dating habits. In her final revelation, she turned the lens back on herself, showing just how relentless Hollywood can be. Brutal post-baby Hollywood. Jennifer Lawrence's final revelation wasn't about Leonardo DiCaprio. It was about Hollywood itself and the unrelenting pressure it puts on women, even its biggest stars. In a candid interview with The New Yorker, Lawrence admitted she's planning breast augmentation surgery after having her second child, and the reasons she gave revealed the brutal realities for mothers in the film industry. "Everything bounced back pretty much after the first one," she said of her eldest son, Cy. The phrase itself, "bounced back," speaks volumes. It's the unspoken rule in Hollywood that women's bodies should snap back to their pre-pregnancy shape as if carrying a human being were a trivial detail. But after her second pregnancy, Lawrence said bluntly, nothing bounced back. And that's when the industry's expectations hit hardest. The catalyst for the surgery is a nude scene in an upcoming film scheduled for later this year, even months after giving birth. Even as an Oscar-winning actress, Lawrence is expected to perform on camera in a body still recovering from childbirth. The vulnerability of being exposed under millions of eyes is staggering. Yet, she admitted she'd likely pursue surgery regardless. "Maybe I wouldn't be hustling to the appointment in the same way, but I think yes." The message is clear. Hollywood has conditioned women to view natural post-baby changes as flaws needing correction. This is the same industry where Lawrence hallucinated on set from medication mishaps, endured abusive directors, and navigated co-stars' eccentricities. It's a place where male actors, like DiCaprio, can age naturally, date younger women, and face no scrutiny over appearance, while female actors are measured against impossible physical standards. Stretch marks, softer stomachs, or changed breasts become professional liabilities, not badges of the incredible work of motherhood. Lawrence's honesty cuts through Hollywood pretense. She's not just admitting a personal choice. She's documenting a systemic problem. Nude scenes, surgical expectations, and body policing are treated as business as usual. Even someone at her level, an Oscar winner, franchise lead, powerhouse, feels she must alter her body to remain professionally viable. Her confession is the final piece of an exposé that began with co-star quirks, dangerous working conditions, and abusive directors. Jennifer Lawrence didn't just expose DiCaprio, she exposed the machine that demands perfection at any cost. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave nice comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting content. Check out another interesting video by clicking on the video appearing on your screen right now.